Dorothy, you teach a great class called Capable Kids here at Intermountain, and it's all about keeping kids safe, and we're doing a campaign about keeping kids safe. So tell me a little bit about that class.
Well, this class talks about lots of things. We talk about kids being safe when they're home alone, how to handle emergencies, how to keep themselves busy and out of trouble, and making sure that parents are always able to be in contact with the kids. We talk about internet safety in that class. We talk about first aid, handling emergencies, and quite a few.
A lot of topics.
Right,
You have
topics.
a handout
We do.
that gives parents a little bit of an idea. And how often do you teach these classes?
We have a schedule, and if you call the education department, you can find out exactly when our classes are being taught. And we try to teach more in the summertime because kids are out of school. It's a little bit easier for them to get into these classes.
Definitely. And speaking of summertime and kids getting, going out of school, what is the age appropriate for kids to be at home alone?
Okay. Now, first of all, parents need to be able to determine the maturity of their child, yes. All right? Because you definitely want a child to have some maturity before they're left home alone. Now, we suggest that at age 7 to 8, that a child's able to stay on their own for about 30 minutes while the parent runs errands. Then, as they get to be about 10 years old, they could probably stay on their own for a few hours in the daytime. And then if you wanted to extend that to longer periods of time or in the evening, you would really need to be, as a parent, keyed in to if they're mature enough to do that. And obviously, there are some cases where the child shouldn't be left home alone.
We were talking about these.
Right, we were. If a child's had a history of playing with matches, if they have a problem with lying, stealing, or just plain being disobedient, they probably should not be left home alone. Also, a good indication is if they're responsible with the things that you ask them to do at home. If you can tell, that they're being responsible with those things, then you can have a better feel for if they're ready.
And what are those things? I know we went through the do's and don'ts for kids and keeping kids busy. What does that exactly, how would you teach a parent that?
Well, first of all, if a parent, wants to be really safe and sure that their child's ready to be home alone, they've got to do some preparations.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. A dry run.
Right. And the house needs to be. You've got to have the smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors, and you want to make sure that you've gone over things with your child. We teach a lot of these things in our class, but I'm surprised how many times when we talk about even fire safety, and we'll ask the children, how many of you know your family's plan to get out of the house in a fire?
Exactly.
And they don't know it. So if the parents think they know it, they haven't. Children need to go through things. We do a lot of role play in the class. So parents really do need to talk with their children about what the plan is for fire safety and exiting the house, and then role play it. Actually go through it. All right?
And those are good things. And also keeping kids active and busy, having
Right.
healthy snacks and knowing how to do their chores.
Boredom is a problem. That can lead to trouble. So, establishing a routine that the child is supposed to do when they get home from school. And we have, in our class, we give contracts. And it's for the parents to sit down and individually talk about all these different things like snacks. What kind of snacks would you like them to have after school, and how can they prepare them? Do you want them to use the stove or sharp knives? Usually not. But of course, that's going to depend on the age of the child and how the parent knows that that child can handle things.
Very true. And what about if a stranger comes to the door?
I really would like most families to say don't answer at all.
If you're not,
Right. Never open the door to a stranger. If the child chooses to ask who's there, it should be with the door closed and locked between them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very good advice. Also, these classes, where could we find how to come to these classes? I know it's at Intermountain, but tell me, how you would get to those.
In the education classrooms.
Okay.
If you go in the main door of the hospital, the revolving door that's been here for...
Not the budge doors.
Right. And you walk in and you turn left, you'll pass the cafeteria, you'll turn left again, and you'll come down to the education doors.
Well, what a perfect thing you guys offer here. Really appreciate you guys keeping our kids safe and educating us as well. Thank you so much, Dorothy.
Thank you.